Deep within the heart of Africa, a kingdom flourished. The Kingdom of Benin, not to be confused with the modern-day Republic of Benin, carved its own destiny. Located in what is now southern Nigeria, Benin's story is one of ambition, artistry, and ultimately tragedy. For centuries, the kingdom thrived, a beacon of power and sophistication. Its legacy, however, is often overshadowed by the tales of other African empires lost in the narrative of colonialism. Yet Benin's history deserves to be told. It is a history rich with cultural achievements, complex political structures, and a vibrant society. From its renowned bronze sculptures to its sophisticated system of governance, Benin offers a glimpse into a powerful African civilization. This video delves into the captivating story of the Kingdom of Benin. We will journey through its origins, its rise to prominence, and its eventual fall. The story of Benin is shrouded in mystery. Its beginnings are a blend of oral traditions and archaeological evidence, painting a picture of gradual emergence rather than a sudden rise. What we do know is that the Edo people, skilled agriculturalists and hunters, laid the foundation for this remarkable kingdom. Over time, a powerful monarchy emerged, with the Oba, the divine king, at its helm. The Oba's rule was absolute, yet balanced by a sophisticated system of chiefs and councils. This intricate political structure ensured stability and facilitated the kingdom's expansion. Benin's influence extended far beyond its borders. Fueled by trade and diplomacy, it became a crossroads of commerce, attracting merchants from across the Sahara and eventually from across the sea. This interaction with the wider world brought wealth and new ideas, but it also sowed the seeds of a conflict that would ultimately seal Benin's fate. The Edo people, the architects of Benin's greatness, trace their roots back to the ancient city of Ile-Ife. Legends abound, speaking of migrations and mythical heroes, blending fact and folklore into a captivating narrative. One such legend tells of a prince from Ife, a prince named Oranmiyan, sent to rule over the Edo people. This tale, passed down through generations, forms a cornerstone of Benin's origin story. Oranmiyan, a skilled warrior and wise leader, arrived in a land ripe with potential. The Edo people, already organized into various communities, recognized the need for a unifying force. Oranmiyan's arrival, whether a historical fact or a powerful allegory, marked a turning point. It signified the transition from disparate groups to a centralized kingdom. While the early years are veiled in the mists of time, archaeological evidence supports the narrative of a gradual rise to power. Settlements grew into towns, and towns evolved into cities, all under the watchful eye of the burgeoning Benin monarchy. Trade flourished, laying the foundation for the economic prosperity that would come to define the kingdom. Oranmiyan's legacy, however, extended beyond mere political unification. He is credited with introducing new ideas, new skills, and a new sense of identity to the Edo people. His reign, a blend of myth and reality, laid the foundation for a kingdom destined for greatness. Oranmiyan, according to Benin tradition, was a prince from the Yoruba kingdom of Ile-Ife. He was sent by his father, the Uni of Ife, to quell unrest among the Edo people and establish a strong presence in the region. Oranmiyan's arrival in Benin was met with mixed reactions. Some welcomed him as a leader who could bring order and stability, while others resisted his authority. Despite initial resistance, Oranmiyan proved to be a shrewd diplomat and a formidable warrior. He forged alliances with key Edo leaders, consolidating his power and expanding his influence. He established his capital at Ubini, later renamed Edo, which would eventually evolve into the magnificent city of Benin City. Oranmiyan's reign marked the beginning of a new era for the Edo people. He introduced Yoruba customs and traditions which blended with existing Edo practices, enriching the cultural tapestry of the kingdom. He also established a system of governance that formed the bedrock of Benin's political structure for centuries to come. However, Oranmiyan's rule in Benin was not without its challenges. He faced constant threats from neighboring kingdoms and internal power struggles. Despite these obstacles, he managed to lay a solid foundation for the future prosperity of the Benin Empire. Oranmiyan's time in Benin was relatively short-lived. He eventually returned to Ile-Ife, leaving behind a legacy that would forever shape the destiny of the Edo people. Before his departure, he fathered a son, Iweka, with an Edo woman. Iweka, raised in his mother's land, became the first true Oba of Benin, solidifying the dynasty that Oranmiyan had established. Iwekatan's reign marked the beginning of a period of consolidation and expansion for the kingdom. He strengthened the administrative structures put in place by his father and embarked on a series of military campaigns that extended Benin's borders. He also fostered trade, attracting merchants from across the region and beyond. Under Iweka I and his successors, the Kingdom of Benin flourished. The Obas, revered as divine rulers, commanded absolute authority. They were surrounded by a court of chiefs and nobles who advised them and oversaw the day-to-day affairs of the kingdom. The Obas's power was further bolstered by a formidable army, feared for its discipline and ferocity in battle. The early rulers of Benin established a tradition of strong leadership and military prowess that would characterize the kingdom for centuries to come. They laid the foundation for a powerful empire that would leave an indelible mark on the history of West Africa. The Kingdom of Benin was not just a political powerhouse, it was a cradle of artistic brilliance. The Edo people, under the patronage of their Obas, developed a unique and sophisticated artistic tradition. Perhaps the most famous examples of Benin art are the Benin Bronzes, intricate sculptures cast using the lost wax method. These bronzes, far from mere decorations, served as historical records, royal chronicles, and expressions of spiritual belief. The Benin Bronzes depicted a range of subjects, from powerful obus adorned in elaborate regalia to scenes of courtly life, rituals, and battles. They provide invaluable insights into the history, culture, and beliefs of the Benin people. The skill and artistry evident in these bronzes, with their lifelike details and technical mastery, testify to the high level of craftsmanship achieved in Benin. Beyond the bronzes, Benin artists excelled in other mediums as well. Ivory carving was another highly developed art form. Ivory, a precious material, was transformed into intricate sculptures, masks, and ornaments, often depicting religious figures or scenes of daily life. These ivory carvings, like their bronze counterparts, showcased the artistic genius and cultural sophistication of the Benin people. The artistry of Benin was not limited to sculpture. Textiles, pottery, and wood carving also flourished. Benin weavers were renowned for their intricate designs and vibrant colors, creating cloths that were highly prized both within the kingdom and beyond. Potters produced a wide variety of ceramics, from utilitarian vessels to elaborate ceremonial objects. Wood carving, often used for architectural elements, furniture, and religious objects, added another layer of artistic expression to Benin's cultural landscape. Life in the Kingdom of Benin revolved around the Oba, the divine king, who wielded absolute power. The Oba's palace, a sprawling complex of courtyards, shrines, and audience halls, formed the heart of the capital city. Here, the Oba held court, received visitors, and conducted the affairs of state, surrounded by his wives, children, and a vast retinue of courtiers, officials, and servants. Benin society was hierarchical, with nobles and chiefs holding positions of power and influence under the Oba. These elites enjoyed privileges and wealth, often living in grand houses and commanding respect from those below them. The majority of the population, however, were commoners engaged in farming, fishing, trading, or crafts. Despite the rigid social structure, life in Benin was vibrant and dynamic. Markets bustled with activity, offering a wide variety of goods from across the kingdom and beyond. Festivals and ceremonies, often religious in nature, punctuated the year, providing opportunities for feasting, dancing, and socializing. The Edo people, known for their industry and resourcefulness, developed sophisticated agricultural techniques, ensuring a plentiful food supply. They also mastered ironworking, creating tools, weapons, and other essential items. Trade, both within the kingdom and with neighboring states, fueled the economy, bringing wealth and new ideas to Benin. Religion played a central role in the lives of the Benin people. They believed in a supreme creator god, Osanabua, who was responsible for the creation of the universe. However, Osanobua was considered too distant to be directly involved in human affairs. Instead, the Edo people focused their worship on a pantheon of lesser deities, or orisha, each associated with specific aspects of nature, human endeavor, or abstract concepts. Shrines dedicated to these deities were scattered throughout the kingdom, from grand temples within the Oba's palace to smaller shrines in private homes and villages. Offerings and sacrifices were made to appease the deities, ensure good fortune, or ward off misfortune. Priests and priestesses played a crucial role in mediating between the human and spiritual realms, interpreting omens, conducting rituals, and providing guidance to the faithful. Ancestor veneration was also an integral part of Benin's religious beliefs. The Edo people believed that the spirits of the deceased continued to influence the lives of the living. Ancestors were honored and appeased through offerings, prayers, and elaborate rituals, often involving masks and costumes. The Oba, as the divine king, held a unique position within the religious sphere. He was considered the intermediary between the people and the ancestors, responsible for maintaining order and harmony within the kingdom. The Oba's coronation, an elaborate ceremony steeped in ritual, symbolized his sacred role and his connection to the divine. At the heart of Benin's political structure stood the Oba, a figure revered not just as a king but as a divine entity. His authority was absolute, his word law, his presence imbued with spiritual significance. This divine right to rule stemmed from the belief that the Oba was a descendant of Oranmiyan, the legendary founder of the dynasty, and by extension a representative of the gods on earth. This divine mandate bestowed upon the Oba immense power and responsibility. He was the supreme judge, the commander-in-chief of the army, and the ultimate authority on all matters of religion and governance. His decisions were rarely questioned, his pronouncements carrying the weight of divine decree. However, this absolute power did not translate into arbitrary rule. The Oba was expected to rule with wisdom and justice, upholding the customs and traditions of his people. The Oba's palace, a sprawling complex of courtyards, shrines, and audience halls, served as the center of power in the kingdom. Here the Oba held court, receiving visitors, conducting state business, and dispensing justice. It was a place of grandeur and ceremony, meticulously designed to reinforce the Oba's authority and impress upon all who entered the divine nature of his rule. The Oba's power was further reinforced through elaborate rituals and ceremonies that emphasized his divine status. His coronation was a sacred event, steeped in tradition and symbolism, signifying his transformation from a mortal prince to a divine king. Throughout his reign, the Oba would participate in numerous festivals and rituals designed to appease the gods, ensure the well-being of the kingdom, and reaffirm his connection to the divine. While the Oba stood as the apex of power, the day-to-day governance of the Benin Kingdom relied on a sophisticated administrative system. This system, a blend of centralized authority and regional representation, ensured the smooth functioning of the empire and the effective implementation of the Oba's decrees. Central to this administrative structure was the Oba's Council, a body of trusted advisors and high-ranking officials who assisted the Oba in matters of state. This council, comprised of representatives from various lineages and guilds, provided valuable counsel to the Oba, ensuring that decisions were made with a broad understanding of the kingdom's complexities. Beyond the capital, the kingdom was divided into provinces, each headed by a governor appointed by the Oba. These governors, often chosen from among the local nobility, served as the Oba's representatives in their respective provinces, responsible for maintaining order, collecting taxes, and implementing royal decrees. A key element of Benin's administrative success lay in its system of checks and balances. The Oba's power, though absolute, was not unlimited. The council served as a constraint on the Oba's authority, providing counsel and ensuring that his decisions were in the best interests of the kingdom. Furthermore, the various guilds and associations within Benin society, representing traders, craftsmen, and other professional groups, held considerable influence. These guilds, with their own internal hierarchies and regulations, played a vital role in the economic and social life of the kingdom, often negotiating directly with the Oba's administration on matters affecting their interests. Among the many rulers of Benin, Oba Iwari the Great stands out as a towering figure, credited with transforming the kingdom into a powerful and prosperous empire. Ascending to the throne in the mid-15th century, Iwari inherited a kingdom facing internal strife and external threats. However, through his military prowess, administrative reforms, and cultural patronage, he ushered in a golden age for Benin. Iwari's reign began amidst turmoil. A disputed succession had weakened the kingdom, leaving it vulnerable to attacks from neighboring states. Undeterred, Iwari, a skilled warrior and strategist, quickly consolidated his power and embarked on a series of military campaigns that expanded Benin's borders and secured its position as a dominant force in the region. His military conquests were but one facet of Iwari's transformative rule. Recognizing the need for a more efficient and centralized administration, he implemented a series of reforms that strengthened the Oba's authority and streamlined governance. He established a new capital at Edo, the present-day Benin city, and constructed a magnificent palace that served as a symbol of his power and the kingdom's prosperity. Iwari's reign also witnessed a flourishing of art and culture. A great patron of the arts, he commissioned countless works of art, including the iconic Benin Bronzes, which immortalized his reign and solidified Benin's reputation as a center of artistic excellence. His court became a hub for artists, craftsmen, and intellectuals, drawn to the kingdom's wealth and Iwari's patronage. Iwari's legacy extended far beyond his military exploits and administrative reforms. He is remembered as a visionary leader who transformed Benin from a regional kingdom into a powerful empire, laying the foundation for centuries of prosperity and cultural achievement. The late 15th century brought a new era to the shores of West Africa. European explorers, driven by a thirst for knowledge, wealth, and new trade routes, began probing the coastline, their arrival heralding a period of profound change for the kingdoms of the region. Among these intrepid voyagers were the Portuguese, who in 1485 made contact with the Kingdom of Benin. This encounter, initially tentative and exploratory, would have far-reaching consequences, forever altering the destiny of the once mighty empire. The arrival of the Portuguese was met with a mixture of curiosity and caution by the Benin court. The Oba, accustomed to dealing with Arab traders from the north, recognized both the opportunities and the potential dangers posed by these newcomers from across the sea. Trade, a cornerstone of Benin's prosperity, was of paramount interest. The Portuguese, eager to tap into the riches of the African interior, offered access to new markets and coveted goods, including firearms, which held particular allure for the militaristic Benin kingdom. However, the Portuguese brought more than just muskets and manufactured goods. They brought with them their culture, their religion, and their ambitions. Catholic missionaries, accompanying the traders, sought converts to Christianity, seeing in Benin a fertile ground for spreading their faith. The Oba, while tolerant of their presence, remained wary of their intentions, recognizing the potential for religious conversion to undermine his authority and disrupt the social fabric of his kingdom. Despite the inherent tensions, the relationship between Benin and Portugal flourished, at least initially. Trade expanded rapidly, bringing wealth to both parties. Ivory, pepper, and slaves, sought after by the Portuguese, flowed out of Benin, exchanged for European goods that fueled the kingdom's economy and bolstered its military might. The influx of European goods, particularly firearms, had a profound impact on Benin. The Oba, recognizing their military value, sought to acquire as many muskets as possible, using them to equip his army and consolidate his power over neighboring states. This arms race, however, came at a cost. The demand for slaves, a key commodity sought by the Portuguese in exchange for firearms, intensified, leading to increased warfare and raiding in the region. While trade brought wealth and military advantage, it also sowed the seeds of discord within Benin society. The increased demand for slaves fueled internal conflicts as rival factions vied for control of this lucrative trade. The Oba, seeking to maintain his authority and prevent the trade from spiraling out of control, attempted to regulate the slave trade, limiting the sale of his own subjects while encouraging the capture of slaves from neighboring states. However, these efforts proved increasingly difficult to enforce as the allure of profit often outweighed moral considerations. The growing dependence on the slave trade had a corrosive effect on Benin society. It distorted the kingdom's economy, shifting the focus from traditional industries to the capture and sale of human beings. It also undermined social cohesion, creating divisions and tensions within communities and between the ruling elite and the common people. Despite the negative consequences, the trade with Europeans, particularly the Portuguese, continued to flourish throughout the 16th and 17th centuries. The Oba, caught between the desire for wealth and the need to maintain order within his kingdom, struggled to balance the benefits of trade with its inherent dangers. The seeds of Benin's demise, however, had been sown, the kingdom's fate inextricably linked to the vagaries of the transatlantic slave trade and the ambitions of European powers. By the 19th century, the relationship between Benin and the European powers had shifted dramatically. The transatlantic slave trade, once a cornerstone of their interaction, had been abolished by Britain, much to the chagrin of the Benin court, which had grown reliant on the trade's revenues. Furthermore, British interest in the region had intensified, fueled by imperial ambitions and a desire to control the lucrative trade in palm oil, a valuable commodity in high demand by European industries. Tensions between Benin and the British escalated in the late 19th century. The British, eager to establish their dominance and control the trade routes to the interior, sought to impose their authority on Benin, undermining the Oba's power and sovereignty. In 1892, a British delegation, led by Acting Consul General James Phillips, arrived in Benin City, ostensibly to negotiate a treaty with the Oba. However, the delegation, ignoring Benin protocols and customs, pressed forward with their demands, unaware of the potential consequences of their actions. The British delegation's disregard for Benin customs, particularly their attempt to enter the city during a religious festival, was perceived as a grave insult by the Oba and his advisors. A clash ensued, resulting in the deaths of most of the British delegation. News of the incident reached London, sparking outrage and calls for retribution. The British, using the incident as a pretext for invasion, dispatched a punitive expeditionary force to Benin. The Benin expedition, consisting of British soldiers armed with modern weapons, faced fierce resistance from Benin warriors. However, the superior firepower and organization of the British forces proved overwhelming. Benin City, the heart of the empire, fell in February 1897. The Oba, captured and exiled, his palace looted and burned, marking the end of Benin's independence. The sacking of Benin City and the looting of its cultural treasures, including the famed Benin Bronzes, stand as a stark reminder of the brutality of colonialism. The Benin expedition brought an abrupt and tragic end to centuries of history and cultural achievement. The fall of Benin in 1897 marked the end of an era. A kingdom that had once stood as a beacon of power, artistry, and cultural achievement lay shattered, its treasures dispersed to the corners of the globe, its people subjugated under colonial rule. The echoes of this tragedy, however, reverberate to this day, a stark reminder of the human cost of imperial ambition and the enduring legacy of the transatlantic slave trade. Yet Benin's story is not simply one of victimhood. From the ashes of empire rose a spirit of resilience, a determination to preserve the kingdom's memory and reclaim its stolen heritage. The Edo people, stripped of their independence, never forgot their past. Oral traditions passed down through generations kept the memory of Benin's greatness alive, ensuring that the kingdom's story, though silenced by colonial powers, would not be erased. The dispersal of Benin's art, while a tragedy in itself, ironically served to introduce the kingdom's cultural achievements to a wider audience. The Benin Bronzes, looted from the Oba's palace and scattered among museums and private collections, became objects of fascination, their intricate beauty and historical significance captivating scholars and art enthusiasts alike. The very act of looting, once intended to erase Benin's identity and subjugate its people, inadvertently provided a platform for the kingdom's story to be told, albeit from a skewed perspective. The Benin Bronzes, once symbols of imperial plunder, became catalysts for a re-examination of the colonial past. sparking debates about cultural repatriation and the legacy of colonialism. Today, the legacy of the Kingdom of Benin is experiencing a resurgence. Scholars, artists, and activists are working tirelessly to reconstruct the kingdom's history, celebrate its cultural achievements, and reclaim its place on the global stage. The Benin Bronzes, once scattered symbols of loss, are gradually being returned to their rightful home, a testament to the growing movement for cultural repatriation and the recognition of Benin's rightful claim to its own heritage. In Nigeria, the descendants of the Edo people are embracing their heritage with renewed pride. Museums and cultural centers are being established, dedicated to showcasing Benin art, history, and traditions. The Oba of Benin, though no longer wielding the political power of his predecessors, remains a revered figure, a symbol of cultural continuity and a guardian of the kingdom's legacy. The story of Benin, once obscured by the shadows of colonialism, is being retold, its complexities and nuances explored with greater understanding and sensitivity. The kingdom's contributions to art, governance, and African history are being recognized and celebrated, challenging Eurocentric narratives and enriching our understanding of the continent's rich and diverse past. The fall of Benin, a tragic chapter in African history, serves as a reminder of the fragility of human civilization and the devastating impact of colonialism. However, the kingdom's enduring legacy, embodied in its art, its history, and the resilience of its people, offers a powerful testament to the enduring spirit of a people determined to preserve their heritage and reclaim their rightful place in the world. The echoes of Benin, once silenced by the cannons of empire, are now being heard anew, carrying a message of cultural pride, historical reckoning, and the enduring power of human resilience.